The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Let me take it away with
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Summit. I'm Antonio Perez, joined by CB, Culture Boy, Chris Culture. Danny hopefully is joining us soon. He had a, emergency meeting with his football team about some safety thing from what I know, but he should be joining us later on. But, until then, me and Chris are, of course, going to hold it down. And our Summit and Plummets of the day are the NCAA tournament. Just before we get into that, Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm back in my hometown in Chicago, looking at the view. It's real good. I also want to wish a happy birthday to my best friend Jade. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday to her. She turned a big 30, so shout out to her. So it's all a good day.
Big 30. Happy birthday to Chris's friend, homeboy, homegirl, wherever you may be. Have a great one.
Right.
Enjoy 30. Live it like you're 20.
Right.
But get into Summits, Plummets. I've been wanting to speak on this summit like all week. Providence. What a well-deserved bid. Their coach, Ed Cooley's so professional. He's got a lot of transfer. Like this is a very young, new team that he's taking to the NCAA tournament. Not that they're going to go, magical Elite 8 Final Four run, but I would not be surprised if this team can win 2 games. I'll swing it to you for your summit.
From the tournament, I love the playing games. Like I like seeing the 16s play each other, try to see who's going to get in. I love that. And then honestly, what I'm looking forward to tonight is I think it's tonight. Arkansas and Illinois playing. Nick Smith, Jordan Walsh, Anthony Black. You got Terrence Shannon Jr., Texas Tech transfer. You got a lot of NBA talent in that game. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 9-8 C-wise. It's going to be a real good game. So that's probably my summit is right now. Just looking forward to that game. Looking forward to how those kids perform. Like with so much NBA talent on the floor, I kind of want to see what they're about.
Yeah, I agree. This is going to be a huge tournament for a lot of guys, and one definitely being Braden Miller, who people are now thinking like the argument for number 2 is now up. Between him and Scoot Henderson. Of course, Vic's going 1, barring any anything crazy. Now, my plummet could easily just be everyone point and laugh at the blue blood UNC for missing out on the tournament. Fraud blue blood, not even a dark blue.
You're right.
But my plummet's actually going to be where they seeded Texas A&M. This is a good basket. I thought they were much better than a 7, and then last year they kind of got bumped out the tournament for no reason. Just hasn't been, and then they get seeded up with number 10 Penn State, who's been on a roll recently. To be honest, they're getting hot at the right time. So Texas A&M kind of catching the short end of the stick on seeding who they have to play, but I hope they take that fire and go win a couple games. I'm one thing about winning a couple games. With the 16 seed, like trying to play into the tournament, I've always thought in a way, okay, you win a game, maybe try to take some momentum to play the 1 seed, but then, of course, it's another 16 seed versus a 1 seed. So, if any 1 seed were to get upset this year, I don't know who I would pick. Everyone thinks Houston's on fraud watch, but
no, I know who I'd pick. I don't think Houston are frauds. I don't think
so
either. It is a fraudulent team. It's a fraudulent team in there, and I think this is my personal opinion. I'll wait until my plummet to my turn to go.
No, you can go right ahead. I'm done. I want to hear who you think might be fraudulent.
Oh, and shout out to Parker who covers Locked on Cougs. He's had me locked into Houston all year. That's how I know that. Yeah, that's how I know they're not frauds. Marcus Sasser's a dog, but in my eyes, the fraud and my plummet of the tournament. It's Purdue being a 1 seed. And it's not even because I'm hating on the school. My personal opinion is they got a 1 seed because of Zach Edey, because he's like he's the hot commodity in college basketball right now, a really, really big guy who can shoot threes. And boy, I just don't think they're a good enough team for a 1 seed. So if there is a team to get upset, I would pick Purdue as far as a 1 seed to be upset, and that's my plummet too. I feel like some teams aren't seeded in the correct way, just depending on what's going on. I think a lot of times narrative shapes seeding, in my opinion, like just in the college realm. So that'll be my plummet, seeing Purdue as a 1 seed, and they're my pick if I had to for a team to be upset early on the 1 seed.
So not this just in, happened roughly 15 minutes ago. Miles Sanders is a Carolina Panther on a, I believe they say 3-year deal. No, I can't see it. Yeah, Miles Sanders, he is a Panther, and that's very good for him. He deserved to be paid. He's a very good running back. Eagles just do not invest in running backs. Now, since we are waiting on
I want to
Dan,
say, Tone, I think Hayden Hurst is too. Hayden Hurst
yep,
is
he's a Panther.
a
Von
Panther
Bell
too.
is a Panther.
Yep.
We'll definitely get into the Panthers, Falcons, some of these teams that are making some splashes in free agency later. With Danny not here yet, me and Chris are going to go over a Take the Skyline segment. Would you rather take this player or Joel Embiid? Now, this isn't like to start a franchise. This is simply right now, this season, who's better? Because, of course, you wouldn't start a franchise with anyone other than Luka Doncic. And I think if you go in any other way, it's kind of weird. But I'm going to pull up our options, and it's kind of going to go – we're going to start very easy with someone I don't know, maybe it's not easy because when this dude's healthy, I mean, he is pretty good. Joel Embiid or Anthony Davis?
What?
I think I would go Embiid because, I mean, like when AD is healthy, he's obviously a walking 30-10. But Joel Embiid does that also. And he's just as good as a rim protector. I think I'd go Joel Embiid.
Yeah. It hurts my heart to say it, but I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to let it. I'm going to let my hometown bias win this one, and I'm going to pick a healthy Anthony Davis over Joel Embiid 100, and not 100%, but like only reason why I say this is because I think Joel Embiid is as good of a rim protector as Anthony Davis. I do agree with that, but I think AD, even when AD is healthy, he locks in more on defense, and for a lot of teams, that's kind of what you need more of because you always going to have your offensive players in the NBA. So, just with him locking in on defense more, and like I said, I think package-wise, I think Joel Embiid probably has a deeper bag than Anthony Davis on offense, but I think, and hometown bias, I got to pick Anthony Davis.
There's nothing wrong with that. No, zero shame. You got to love it. Now, this next one it's like another one where this guy can't stay healthy, but we know this season when he's played, he's been one of them. Joel Embiid or Kevin Durant?
You first on to me.
I can go first. I think I would go Joel Embiid, and it's Joel Embiid is just as tall. Like he's taller than Kevin Durant. I believe he's 7 foot to 7'2", something like that. And he is an elite 3-level scorer like Kevin Durant. Is he as efficient? No, but he can get to the stripe like no other, which is going to bump the averages up, slow the game down for himself. And of course, he's a better defender than Kevin Durant. At this point in Kevin Durant's career, he's actually not as aggressive as I'd like him to be. Which goes into his insane efficiency, but I think I would go Joel Embiid, who can anchor an offense and a defense.
Yeah, that's not bad. And honestly, since we're going on this year, and even when healthy, I think Embiid's had a better year than Kevin Durant. So I'd go Embiid. And it's tough for me to say because I personally think Kevin Durant's a top 6 player of all time today. Like that's my personal opinion on just NBA basketball. I think he's a top 6 guy of all time right now. But today, Embiid's having an incredible season. And like you said, I think what you said, he's just a little more aggressive at this point in his career than KD is. And it could be for a multitude of reasons, the injuries, just him being older, whatever it is. But I go Joel over KD this year.
I would say from this point, it gets a little spicier. Joel Embiid or LeBron James?
Don't worry about it. Don't waste your time, Tom. Don't waste your time. I'll go first. Don't you worry about it. I'll get this right out the way. Don't you worry about it. I'm picking Chef Goat, LeBron, low management, nasty comments under pictures, whatever you want to call him. I'm going Goat James over everybody, but I'm sorry, Embiid, but I'm going to go James this year because this year at 57 years old, LeBron James has been incredible when he's been on the court, in my opinion. Now, yeah, he does take a couple possessions off on offense, yeah, but on defense, his sheer presence on offense still scares opposing teams. You can just tell, like, about the open shots other teams, other players get on the team, and so on and so forth. So I got to go James right there.
Yeah, this one's a really tough one for me because it's not only like LeBron with Kevin Durant and AD also has the injury issues, but I mean, like, my God, when LeBron's been on the floor this year, he's been utterly phenomenal. I mean, but so is Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
And with LeBron, it's not even to the point where like LeBron just doesn't even want to play defense. And like we all know to this day, when he like decides he wants to play defense, when he like squares up, gets his hands out, I would literally take him over anybody because he's lateral, like super quick laterally, and he's got good ball instincts and he can cut off passing lanes. But that isn't LeBron today, unfortunately. Yeah. And I think this year more than ever, LeBron sometimes in the offense might like shadow off into the corner. I think I would go Joel Embiid this year, but LeBron, when he does get back, is about to have an all-time playoff run. Swear to God, this might be his nastiest run, in my opinion.
He's going for number 5. I'm trying to tell you.
He's going for 5.
He's going to get it.
Now we're going to go to a longtime Embiid postseason Eastern Conference rival. This season, Joel Embiid or Jason Tatum, who has been better. As a Celtics fan and proud known Sixers hater, which like I don't even hate the Sixers like that no more. I really do hate their announcers, but I would go Joel Embiid. It's his play style makes him more efficient, but like I mean, you can't really knock it. He is the better defender overall. Like Tatum's obviously the better perimeter guy, like by a little bit, but Embiid's the better rim protector by a lot. I would say Tatum's the better playmaker, but not too far. I mean, Embiid can create out of the post. I did a film review on this. He is so good in transition with setting his teammates up. And obviously, I mean, he's a 7-foot guy who's a 3-level scorer. This season, I'd give him the nod over Jason Tatum. Main reason, the consistency.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards that way too, Tom. I think I'm gonna go with Embiid. My first time picking Embiid today, and it's tough, honestly. Like I was saying before about JT being in MVP talks, I think this is JT's best year yet. Like on both sides of the ball, I think it's been incredible. But when you look at, like you said, when you look at Joel's overall floor game, it's almost like he's a small forward with how he directs the game to an extent. Like he gets it down the post, he works from out of there, he sets up people from there, he gets to the line, he does everything. And like you say, he slows the game down when his team isn't doing well. And the one knock I have against JT is that when the Celtics aren't doing well, it's almost like JT just starts shooting threes. That's just what it feels like. Him and Jaylen Brown like getting to that point of like not either one of them trying to be the hero over each other, but they just want to be there so bad. I think it just comes in maturation and understanding the game and understand how it flows. But yeah, I think I go Joel over JT this year.
Yeah, the one thing with Joel, but the difference between Joel and Jason Tatum, when Joel's shot is not falling, like he'll miss like 2 threes in a row or 2 mid ranges in a row. There's not a soul on this planet that is stopping him from getting the ball in the post, one dribble, wrap around, and dunking on you like Shaq. Yeah. Jason Tatum, when his shots aren't falling, he's convinced that I need to keep shooting. Last night against the Rockets, he was 1 for 10, I believe. 1 for 10 from the field. His only make was a sidestep 3. 1 for 10 total. And then he started going to the basket. Then he makes 2, and then 3, and then 4. And he kept going to the basket, which ended up like making his efficiency solid. And then he lost. He missed the game-winning layup, which is unfortunate because he actually had a very good second half and a really good fourth quarter. And, of course, Jaylen Brown had a great game. I would just like to see Jason Tatum, when the shots aren't falling, get down to the post. Anthony Davis has stopped shooting threes like a ton. Like, he'll shoot 1 or 2 a game, but he understands, like, him, Embiid, Jokic are probably the most 3 unstoppable dudes on the post. Like, no one can guard these guys, probably except for each other, more so Davis and Embiid. But we're going Embiid here. Now, this is where it's going to get
Uh-oh.
It's gonna get crazy.
I think I feel who's next. I feel it.
Though, who do you think is gonna be that? Because there is 3 guys. Like we have not mentioned 3 guys. So
No, I'm keeping it as if I'm gonna wait, and then my reaction will show if I'm right.
okay, Luka Doncic.
I knew it.
Luka Doncic or Joel Embiid this season?
Well, so I'll lead by saying this. Luka was my pick for MVP before Kyrie.
He was mine as well.
Before Kyrie got there. And then since he's been gone, my choice has been Joel Embiid for MVP. So in saying so, I think Luka Doncic is overall. I mean, you kind of got to factor in defense too, so that's kind of why I'm saying it. But Luka's so good on offense that it makes you kind of think it twice. But I'll probably go Embiid over Luka this year. And I think it just encompasses the whole year because second half of the year, Luka's been a little in and out of the lineup, and also too he's trying to figure out how to incorporate Kyrie into what they're doing over there, and Kyrie's trying to figure it out. So I think he's just kind of tailed off a little bit. So I lean towards Embiid on this one.
I would go Embiid as well, and these 2 are the 2 leading scorers in the NBA. But what makes Joel so impressive is the Sixers announcer said this in their game against the Wizards, which I didn't agree with the entire thing they said, but what they did mention is that Luka Doncic touched the ball, like he brings the ball up every single play. As the point guard, you can essentially decide what's going to happen, especially with his usage rate and the fact that Jason Kidd has no clue what he's doing. So he just lets Luka do what he has to, which, like you said, Luka has to figure out how to put Kyrie in the offense. Jason Kidd has 0 clue what he's doing.
He stands like this.
You would think him and Nash would be 2 of the greatest coaches ever. No, these dudes stink. Like for two of the greatest point guards ever, and they are just not good head coaches. Can't wait till he's out of there. I would go Joel Embiid though. I mean, he's a little more efficient. He can get to the line. I mean, Luka can also get to the line, but Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, 2 guys who play at their own pace. I think I would go Joel Embiid this season. I wish Luka stayed a little healthier and the Mavs were a little better. I think if the Mavs were like, if they could even be the 3 seed, Luka would be winning because his stats are 2K-esque. Like they're not real. Like if you ever play 2K Sim, Luka Doncic is averaging 40, 10, and 12 on like 60, 40, 90 every single year. I don't know what, like 2K makes him and John Morant like out of this world. It's crazy.
Yep.
All right. Spiciest one yet, and then our last one, which it's not really spicy because I think we're both know what we're gonna say.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic, who's better? Nikola Jokic is like truly a unicorn. Like I am a fan of his game. I think he gets some unnecessary slander for like how much he doesn't score the ball, but I kind of get it. Like at some point you got to take over. Like you are the best player on the team, you have to take over. Every player does it. Anyone who's the best player on the team does it. For that reason, and not even the defensive reason, I think for that reason I would go Joel Embiid. He's never scared of the moment. Nikola Jokic, he did attempt the game winner the other night, missed it, but down the stretch against the Raptors, shamelessly packed up 8 garbage time points. I don't know. I think the triple doubles are cute and all. And like Twitter pages love putting like 86% from the field and like 100% from 3 when the whole time he shot 9 shots and put up 2 threes or whatever, like
1 3.
Yeah, like 1 3 or whatever it may be. I'm going Joel Embiid. He better scorer, and I do like my centers as traditional rim protectors. So I've always been a Joel better guy.
Yeah, and my answer is I'm 100% with you. I'm going Joel over Jokic. But this is the funny part. I would pick Jokic as MVP this year. Like I think Jokic is the most valuable player in the NBA to their team, like as far as what the award says. But I think Joel Embiid's a better player and he's had a better season. I know that might be a weird dynamic, but that's just how I look at it. The reason Jokic gets so many assists and triple doubles is because he's playing with a shooting guard at point guard in Jamal Murray. We already talked about Michael Porter's assist numbers. I don't think he even tries it. So it's
under
like
Porter assist, free money
every night. And then like he boards because he's the only one that's trying to get the board because everybody else is running so he can throw the pass. Like his stats are inflated a little bit, and I think that's what even makes him and Embiid as close as the public kind of wants to make it. Like, my center has to care a little bit about defense. Like, he has to do more than just kick the ball when it's coming down the court to get a kick ball violation. I just don't like that aspect of it. And as a center, I gotta go Embiid, because Embiid, you're not gonna dunk on Embiid, and if you do, he's gonna come dunk back on you and block your next 2 shots. And that's the kind of like mean streak I want in a center. And I just don't think Jokic. Even I don't say he don't have it, yeah, but he just hasn't showed it yet. So I'm going.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I need a guy who can anchor both sides, but I would definitely say like Nikola Jokic he's utterly phenomenal. And if he did walk away with a 3-peat at MVP, I really have no complaints. I mean, I would probably pick Embiid up to this point only because we can't keep switching the narrative to fit Nikola Jokic. Joel Embiid, like, the Nuggets are the 1 seed in their conference, but the Sixers have a better record. Like, the Sixers are the better basketball team. And that is in large part to Joel Embiid, because when he doesn't play, that's not a good team. I mean, James Harden every now and then can revert to Houston Harden and, carry the load a little bit. I promise you, he can't do it consistently as he used to. And good for him for like completely changing his play style to be the 2-man next to Embiid. That's the greatest pick and roll I've ever seen. I'm not going to lie. But moving on to the last guy, which who is better, Joel Embiid or Giannis Antetokounmpo? I have Giannis. I think Giannis is the best player in the world. I think he's gonna finish as a top 15 player of all time. I don't like him when he plays the Celtics. When they face in the playoffs for a 7-game span, to me, he is run and dunk. Otherwise, he is this generation's next GOAT. He is going to be he's going to be the best player in the NBA for as long as his legs stay under him. I love Joel. I really do love Joel Embiid. I think Giannis is like, he's going to be, legendary territory.
Yeah, I got to go GG too. It's not. I won't say it's not even close, but Giannis plays every game. I mean, he's missed some games this year, but Giannis damn near goes out there and plays every game. Plays both sides of the floor. It's hard. He plays like a 10th man on the team trying to stay on the team. He plays like Thanasis plays, but he's Giannis. And even with him being run and dunk, like, nobody can stop it. So, I mean, why not? Why stop? And then he's added the mid range. He's added a couple of things. He's added a floater. He's added he's added to his game in the time we've seen him being coached by Jason Kidd to now. So I got to go Giannis. I think Giannis will be Defensive Player of the Year almost every year, either him or Bam, honestly. So with that, and then I damn think he should be the MVP every time. It's tough not to go with Giannis over anybody right now.
All right, so we're gonna roll into our wide receiver review, preview, however you want to put it. Now, last week we didn't have bust. This week we have bust. I'm hating for sure.
Tough.
Nah, I'm playing. I like a lot of these receivers. Well, we can start with our bust because we haven't done one in 2 weeks. My bust is Tank Dell, and that might be an unpopular pick. I mean, he's not one of the like highly coveted guys, but he had a really good Senior Bowl practices. He was really good one-on-one. I liked his able to create separation. And he really is a good route runner. He showed really poor hands at the combine. He didn't run as fast as someone that I thought, like, for his size, like a 5'8", 170 dude. I really wanted him to try to get that 4.3, which 4.4 isn't bad. Like, that's still really good, like, no doubt. And he's very football fast. I don't see him being the wide receiver 2 of a Super Bowl winning team. I could see him maybe being like a wide receiver 4, speedster type of guy. He has to become a better blocker, especially for his size. Like, he simply just has to get bigger. Like, no knock to his game, of course. He can ball. I would like to see the hand shore up a little bit, and I would just like to see him put on like a little bit of size along with his amazing speed.
Sounds good. Well, for my bust, I don't even know. I think it should be considered a bust because for all the rankings I've seen, he's been in the top 10, like, as far as wide receivers go. But Josh Downs would be my bust from North Carolina, and it's mainly because of the size. He's just small, like, he's really, really small. And I think the days of like tiny, really, really small slot receivers are kind of over. And it depends on like where he's picked to where if he'll be a bust or not. But I think if you pick him anywhere before like round 2 or 3, I think you're taking a really big risk just because of just how small he is. Unless you have like a bunch of big receivers, like okay, if you have AJ Brown, so you can do Devontae Smith. I mean, even though Devontae Smith's not as small as Josh Downs, he's skinnier, more frame needs a little bit of work, if you will. But I think if Josh Downs goes to a situation like that, we have a big wide receiver 1 next to him. I think he can be a bust depending on where he's taken.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad one either. Josh Downs does have his downsides. I mean, he can't block. He can't stalk block for nothing. Like I blocked better in middle school. I'm not gonna lie. He can't block. He is very fast, and I do believe he could be a deep threat for a team. He's a very good route runner. His concentration catches could use some work. But his main problem is like when you're a smaller guy, like the main reason for concern is injury. But now when your size is just simply affecting your gameplay, then there's something to like really worry about. He's not really physical on his route. He can easily get thrown off his routes, and he spends too much time at the line of scrimmage because he's trying to outmuscle people with the muscle that isn't there, unfortunately. I think he could be a big play guy, though. Like, I do think he could pan out, like you said, pan out with a team where he's not asked to be the number 2 or even number 3. Like, if he can be the number 4, don't put him in a lot of run blocking situations. He could be good, but, coaches need your guys to block for certain.
Yeah, so I think he's more of like a gadget guy, or he can be, with his speed, I think he's an elite kick return, punt return threat, if you decide to go that route with him. But I don't think you pick that guy that as early as I see him going in some mocks. That's my
Yeah, a lot of people have him as like one of the 5 best receivers. I certainly don't. But we can move on to a sleeper guy. My sleeper guy is someone that I honestly didn't like review too much until today, but Cedric Tillman, who is the teammate of Jalen Hyatt at Tennessee, he is like a big upside. Like, I mean, this is certainly like a late day 2, probably day 3 pick. He's very good at the jump ball. He's a very good size, like very good athlete for his overwhelming size. And he's NFL, like he's 6'4", 2 something. That's an X. That is a number 1 in the NFL. And it's all a matter of putting the hands. Like, he didn't get to run a lot. Like, his route tree was very limited in college, of course, playing alongside Jalen Hyatt. And he doesn't really have a lot of film, same issue that Hyatt does. But I think Cedric Tillman can be a sleeper for an NFL team on day 3. If you're looking to find like a sneaky guy who can win jump balls, has good size, has good upside, and good physicals, that'd be my sleeper for sure.
Yeah, I like that one. My sleeper is Rashee Rice from SMU, and I'll tell you why. Living in Dallas now, I hear a lot of Dallas. You know how Texas is in general on football. Rashee Rice is a name that I heard a lot. And I just started to pay attention a little bit. And I seen like how big he was on film. Like he's a big guy, 6'2", 205. Like he's a big guy in my opinion. And I think if you take him, wherever you take him, I think he's a guy who can change your offense. And he has like what it looks like on film to me is NFL ready. Like he's ready to play downs today. Like he can come contribute to a team today. Like I said, because of size. Overall, I think he's a pretty good athlete, and he has pretty sure hands from what I've seen. So I say Rashee Rice would be my sleeper. I think he can come in year 1 and change your team.
I like that one. And there's been some like little bashing over Rashee Rice. I mean, he's not very physical at the line of scrimmage, can get thrown off his route. But otherwise, I mean, like those are things you can fix. And if he does get put in the slot or, mismatch on the outside, there are coachable things to fix that. Now, we can move on to our favorite. We can go into our favorite wide receiver in the draft. I think I'm going to go with Tillman's teammate. I think I'm going to go with my favorite wide receiver being Jalen Hyatt. He's very limited tape. He only got really like 1 season of production, but we're talking world-class speed here. Very fast. He can track the ball like super well, which is what you want in a deep threat. And he can block really well. Unlike the other couple guys we were talking about, he's a good run blocker. And that is something that coaches look at a lot. He's a very good route runner. So, I mean, his tree really isn't limited. He's got sure hands. He ran a 4.4 at the combine and people were disappointed. I'm like, what are we talking about? Like, that is still very good. And he's clearly NFL fast. He can be like, even like catching the ball and getting out in space. He could really be something. Like I truly do believe he's going to work out in the NFL.
Yeah, I like that one. And I think my favorite receiver in this class is, I mean, I guess I'm gonna sound like a casual, but it's gotta be Quentin Johnston, and this dude is a tank. First and foremost, dude's a tank. And ever since the first I heard of him was the Ravens should look at trying to get Quentin Johnston if they can. You know me, I'm all ears. If I get somebody who can catch the ball, like actually, I'm like, okay, I'm looking at it. And then when I seen this guy, I'm like, not only is he a monster, he's an athlete. He's a physical beast. And I think just from that, like, and like a lot of my favorite receivers of all time, like the Calvin Johnsons of the world, like I like the bigger receivers. I'm bigger receivers with good athleticism, and I think Quentin Johnston could be in that space. So he's my favorite.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. There's a lot of people who are down on maybe like he didn't get to run the whole route tree at TCU, but I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. They was just out there trying to win games, and he's an
Literally.
athlete. Your goal is either get it downfield to him or get it to him short and let him work. You know, they didn't really have the offensive line to let Duggan sit back there and let him get into his thing. I thought he had a very good combine. I thought he ran his routes very smooth for someone his size. He's super agile for someone his size. So he can catch and move with the ball. And obviously he can stretch the field. The one thing I would like to see him do better in the NFL is maybe attack the high point better for his physical size. Sometimes he doesn't come down with it as much as you'd like. Mm. Same with the blocking is for someone his size. You'd like to see that get better. But I mean, the physical freak and speed and agility, the upside of this kid is like you said, like that's an NFL wide receiver. He could easily pan out in the NFL with the right coaching, in my opinion. And if he's your wide receiver one, that's a great pick. Like to be honest. And now we're gonna move on to our best wide receiver. Those were our favorites. I got to go to our best. I think the best wide receiver in this class is Jackson Smith-Njigba, JSN. Yep. And people have forgotten. Like we're looking too much into a 40 time or a potential, like he's never like outran anyone on the field. Like he's never won a foot race on the field. I don't really care. No one can guard this dude. And especially as a slot receiver, he's going to be creating so many mismatches for safeties and for linebackers. Like in the middle of our best wide receiver talk, we finally got our boy in for the last 15 or so minutes. I'm going to finish up with my best wide receiver talk, and then I will swing it to you, Danny. But yeah, JSN, he's very hard to get hands on. He's very crafty in open space. He can be a vertical threat. He's shown it at Ohio State. And listen, the last time we've seen the dude fully healthy, he put up 300 yards in the Rose Bowl. So I quite literally don't care. Now, Chris, before I swing it to you for the best receiver, Danny, man, how are you doing? If you want to give like a quick plummet of the NCAA, then you can. But if you just want to get into like your best wide receiver prospect, we'll let you do it.
Yeah, I mean, apologies about running late. Football meeting with our team. It just ran long, so gotta get right back into it. Let's get it started, man. The NCAA March Madness is right now, right?
Yeah, it's getting kickstarted, man.
It's getting kickstarted. I believe the bracket's locked tomorrow at noon.
I believe so. Yeah.
I can't bet on it. I'm an NCAA athlete. Technically, I'm not even an NCAA athlete. I'm an athlete, but it's a weird situation. Can't
throw me money, bro. I got you.
Hey, yo.
I'm not 21, but yeah.
NIL, do not listen to this. NCAA, you did not hear that. Everything. I'm not doing that. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get into my best wide receiver. It's a hard one here, right? You got a couple. I think there's three guys to look at. You got the devil you know in Quentin Johnston, the devil you don't know in JSN. He hasn't played in a year, and then you have a guy who won the Blitnikoff Award in Jordan Addison. I think those three are clear top three guys in the draft. I'm gonna go Quentin Johnston. You saw he performed on all three stages. He couldn't get it done against Georgia, but could anyone? Georgia literally was sacking Max Duggan in like half a second. Really? Are you going to blame his wide receiver production in the national championship game? They lost by 50. I don't think the problem is the quarterback couldn't get the ball out. Watch the game.
Yeah, and it was poor blocking overall.
It was rough
I
for them
think
boys.
you could both say
Well,
JSN
is
and
Julio.
Quentin
He is
Johnson.
Julio. He is the most Julio-like receiver to come out since Julio.
I don't think that's a hot take. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
physical freak. But I'm gonna swing it to Chris for his best wide receiver in the 2023 NFL draft class.
Yeah, I'm gonna go JSN too. It was a toss up between Quentin and JSN. I just think JSN could change so many offenses no matter where you put him. Like when he's healthy, when he's right, he got great hands. He can do it all in my opinion. So I'd have to give it to him. It was between him and Quentin, but I lean toward JSN.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I think either one of them two, you could argue the top guy. If you're a Jordan Addison guy, of course you could argue him as a top guy. I think one thing we can all agree on, if Marvin Harrison Jr. was in this draft, he'd be number one. That kid's out of this world. Danny, do you just want to real quickly give us a sleeper, a favorite, and a bust for the wide receiver class?
Yeah, I'm going to go give a sleeper. My sleeper is Jalen Hyatt. I think he actually is the third best receiver in his class. It's a hot take.
I like that one. I like it.
I have my receiver video coming out tonight. I think he's the third best receiver. I told Tony this earlier this week. You don't accidentally put up 5 touchdowns against Nick Saban.
No, you got to be good. You got to be
real good. It's like Antonio Brown when he played Bill Belichick, because I'm going to bring this up. Belichick and Saban are best friends. AB when he played Belichick couldn't do anything because they bracketed the safeties. Saban could not figure out a way to stop him.
No, I mean, sometimes guys are too fast. Guys are too unguardable.
His 40 doesn't show that he's like, wow, but like the way when you watch him run, he's butt naked every play.
Exactly. Like, and I don't really care about the limited production, like the 1 year production. I really don't care. The dude's a beast. Can we get a
I heard someone say, Jalen Reagor is similar because Jalen Reagor had 1 year of production. You know the thing? Jalen Reagor has production off screens. This dude's running by people.
Yeah,
he's running
screens,
by
jets.
safety.
Like he was a Walmart version of like D'Anthony Thomas.
Jalen Hyatt can step into any offense in the NFL, and at worst be the wide receiver too.
He could, yeah. He is an eagle. I fear.
Other than the Eagles, sorry. Other than the Eagles and the Bengals, he could set and the Dolphins. Sorry, there's a couple teams.
I'm saying outliers. I want him on the Eagles because him replacing Quez. Oh, that's nasty. Danny, real quick.
What I'm saying though, like there's a couple teams that he can't step into and be like the immediate two.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, for sure. Right before we get into our free agency part, Danny, who's a bust out of this class? Need some negativity.
The bust out of this class. I mean, like who I think is going to be drafted high and be bad.
Yeah, we can go with that because I also think a lot of these guys they're simply going to pan out. Like I think they're all obviously they all can't be good, but if you had to pick someone to be bad,
who do I think can be bad? There's a lot of guys who I think are just going to be like straight out, flat out busts, right? I think there's a lot of these people keep hyping up Josh Downs. I'm just not a big fan of Josh Downs.
Chris agrees.
Yep.
He's undersized. I think he has an opportunity to be drafted high and be a bust. That doesn't mean I think he's the worst out here. I just think that like him and Dell have an opportunity to be like Sky Moore in respect. Drafted in the second round, and you're just like, where is the production? I
totally see.
I mean, I think the talent's there. I think the talent's there for every receiver, though. These guys aren't NFL prospects for no reason. A little shout out sleeper though. Shout out sleeper to Andre Josefas out of Princeton.
Shout out to him. Shout out Ivy League.
Nice.
So moving on, we were going to grade some free agency moves, but there's too many that I liked. So we're just going to go with which team is having the best free agency so far. And while Danny's, while the iron's hot, we're just going to swing it to you. Who do you think's having the best free agency so far?
Honestly, I think it's clear. This team actually got clowned on for making a trade to do this. Is to trade the number 1 overall pick. The Panthers have recently signed Miles Sanders. They signed a really, really solid tight end in Hayden Hurst. You're getting weapons for Richardson or Stroud or Young, whatever one you want to choose now. And here's the thing. You can go a second-round pick or one of your picks. You go and you get a wide receiver, and you're set. Because then you have a really young, really solid O-line. Your defense already could have won you games. I think, and the Panthers, they went and got Von Bell, right? I think the Panthers are really, really. I think they should be favorites in the South right now. I'm not impressed with the Saints. I like what they did get Jamal Williams. Doesn't move the needle for me personally. Nah. I think that for me that's just Alvin Kamara is going to jail. Let's go get a running back.
Oh God! All right, I'll go right before Chris. Since you said Panthers, I think Panthers had a very good free agency so far. I see the Saints. I was kind of like up and down on because like credit to them for like even trying to make it work. I was looking for a way to give them the benefit of the doubt. I can't do it. However, a team I can, the Atlanta Falcons, staying in the South. They picked up Jesse Bates, who's going to be huge for their horrible secondary. They picked up Jonnu Smith, who honestly can play real tight end for them and potentially just move Pitts to wide receiver. Like finally just move him to wide receiver. Now they probably won't officially move him to receiver and they're just going to lead the league in 2 tight end sets. But I think this opens up the case for Pitts that he can actually go one receiver with London. They signed a very solid backup in Taylor Heineke, who I firmly believe is better than Marcus Mariota. And I think this just, let's Ritter ride. I think, and they paid, Lindstrom, the guard. So that gets protection for Ritter that he didn't have last year. I'm excited to see him next year. I'm excited to see this team. I think them and the Panthers are like steps ahead of the other 2 teams where the Bucs just signed Baker Mayfield and the Saints are
That's
just
slept on, man. That's slept on.
It could work out. It depends. It depends what we're working with Baker. Is this going to be 2020 Baker? Or is this going to be last 2 seasons Baker? But
okay, here's the thing. Though,
it just depends how he pans out.
You kind of hope he fails. You hope he fails.
Oh, is the Bucs? Yeah, because then you
get Caleb Williams.
Yeah, there's this guy USC who could probably start on like 16 or so NFL teams right now.
According to Nick Wright, this guy can start on
about 25 NFL teams. Yeah, like unreal. I wouldn't say that, but Chris, who are you rocking with? Who is having the best free agency so far?
It hurts my heart to say this because even though I'm a hometown kid, I'm a Chicago Bears hater. So all my people who watch this show, they are going to be looking at me crazy. But I think the Bears are having the best offseason right now because I think they filled so many holes that they had. That trade, the number 1 pick trade, them getting DJ Moore, getting those other picks, they still are in the top 10, so they're still able to fill another big hole right there. They got, I think they got 2 second rounders. I think 2 second rounders in that trade, a fourth and like a sixth and another first.
And 2024. Yeah, they got two first, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore.
Yeah, that's insane. I feel like that's insane value for that. Then they went out and got Tremaine Edmonds, went out and got TJ Edwards. Tom. And I think it was just great that they did that. And like I said, I think it gives the Chicago fans life. And I think that's a bigger part of it. Like it shows that Ryan Poles is trying to make this team better, is giving the fans something to cheer about for real. Like they're going to cheer regardless. Now you're actually putting out a competent team out there. You're trying to put a real offense together. I mean, it sucked losing David Montgomery. But if they're smart, I would pick a running back number 9. I'm not going to say exactly who, but it does. His name is Bijan Robinson. I would pick him at 9 just to get a running back.
At 9?
Personally. I know you don't take running backs in the first. It
depends how highly. I wouldn't take them in the first, especially in the top 10. What they could do though is maybe trade back even more. It's just I don't know. Maybe you rock out with Khalil Herbert with as good as Justin Fields is on running the ball.
I
Yeah,
believe
my
they
only
signed
reason I even
Travis
said
Homer
that,
as well.
they did. And my only reason saying
It looks like they're
Bijan because
shifting over to a running back by committee. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. But what I seen, I was looking at mocks. They had Bijan like I think I'd seen them as high as like 12. So I didn't think 9 was a crazy reach, especially if your RB1's gone. I mean Travis Homer's pretty good as well, but like I said, and that was like I said that might have been a cold take. But we're gonna see. Like I said, I just really want to see how it pans out. So I think they're actually trying. And being from Chicago, seeing it, they haven't had a front office that tried. So I'm giving some love to Ryan Post for trying.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah, I see.
People that make these mock drafts are horrible. You can look back at my mock drafts and other people's mock drafts from last year. We all had Kayvon going 1 or 2. He went 5. We don't know what's going on.
I made a mock draft that had Kyle Hamilton and Jordan Davis going 1 and 2.
Yeah,
I swear.
Thank God he didn't. They got Kyle.
No, legitimately. You can see other people. People were hyping up Kyle Hamilton to be the number 1 prospect in the draft, which I still think he's a phenomenal player. But you gotta realize
I did have him top 5.
These people value. I think he still played phenomenal rookie year. But these teams value players differently than we know. The media wants to paint this picture that X, Y, and Z and these players are going, but we don't know what's going on in these front offices. We don't know that the Panthers want Stroud. We don't know that the Panthers are taking a quarterback at 1. They probably are.
I would hope so. Oh man. But you're
what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah, because a lot of teams are like, oh, you could only get a 3rd for Jalen Ramsey. Well, you weren't on the phone call. The Rams have no leverage. They have to get rid of the money. It's not.
Well,
really
another thing is this.
Go ahead.
But here's what I'll tell you this. I don't think the Panthers made a bad trade. I think the Panthers actually fleeced the Bears. You know the Niners had to go up to get the 3rd pick?
Yeah, the
Niners get
3 first rounders to get the 3rd pick. So the Niners decided that we're going to give up all this and literally just take the 3rd guy off the board, which then at the time there were clear differences who was going where. But I mean, in this class, credit to the Panthers, they're going to get their guy. They're not going to 3rd and be like, oh, we'll take whoever's left. They want theirs.
Exactly.
Credit to them.
Here's the thing. The Panthers, imagine they trade up to 3rd. The Panthers probably could have given 1 less first and trade with the Cardinals. The Panthers said, screw that. We're jumping the Texans and we're with our guy. We're not going to have to wait. And now
they're in control.
Imagine if the Niners had Trevor Lawrence right now and they gave up what the Panthers did.
Yeah.
People are going to, a couple years from now, people are going to look back and say, oh, I'm stupid because I said the Panthers had a bad trade. Because guess what? You can replace a receiver. You can't replace a quarterback that you think is your guy.
Exactly. I agree. So, because Danny wasn't here for the first one, I'm probably going to get rid of I'm probably going to cut out the other one. Our outro game of Guess the NBA Player. Me and Chris did this off screen, just as a run. Chris got it, of course. So the thing is I have an NBA player. These two have 20 questions to get it right. Essentially, they have 10 apiece, but they can't really communicate. So, if Chris asks a question, for instance, let's say it was an NFL player, and he's like, does this person play in the NFC? I say, yeah. Then Danny has to build off of that. I'd be like, okay, does he play in the West? Then essentially they can't communicate. They have to build off of each other's questions to find out what NBA player am I talking about. Now, Chris, it's not the same one that we just discussed a couple minutes ago. I do already have a different one in my head. I'm gonna let Chris lead the way after his question. Then Danny will go and we'll build from there. Guess the NBA player.
Okay. Is this NBA player? Is this player currently playing? Is he active in NBA today?
He is not on a team. No.
Okay. Is this player a guard?
He's not a guard.
Okay. Did this player ever play for New York Knicks?
He did.
Okay. Go ahead then.
Did this player play between 2000 and 2022?
Yes, he did. And that is a good question. Trying to, keep him in the present sort of.
Is this player Carmelo Anthony?
Hey, this player is Carmelo Anthony. You guys destroyed this thing. You guys destroyed it, and that's good teamwork. That's
Here's
good
the
teamwork.
thing, though, right? I'll tell you this. We've been watching your TikToks. We know that you've been don't swing the rock.
Don't swing the pill, man. I'm telling you, that is beautiful basketball. I'm gonna know what? Just because I'm gonna pull up some screenshots from last night of some stat lines. Okay, so we have Kelly Oubre, 28 points, 1 assist. That's how you play basketball.
I want to show Klay Thompson earlier this week.
Oh, Klay Thompson had 38 and 0. Beautiful. We have, let's see, Paolo Banchero, 27 points, no assist. That's how you play basketball.
Michael Porter Jr. swag.
Yo, whoa, Michael Porter Jr. was feeling like prime Rondo last night. He had 23 points and 2 assists. That's got to be a career high. Woo! Actually, I looked it up. His career high is 5.
Yo, Michael Porter Jr. plays like you're playing a 2K game.
Yeah, he going for badges. Like
he spammed A and just shoot at the 3-point line, turn all of his sliders up. He cool.
The craziest thing, for as many threes as he shoots above 40%. Like, he's a jack, but he can score. Like, he's a jack. You could legitimately like make the argument he's like the second scorer for the Nuggets if they gave him enough touches, and of course if he could play defense a little better.
Wait,
but
the Nuggets have a nickname? I'm gonna call them the Nugs.
The Nugs.
The Nuggets, they need to figure out that Jamal Murray is not an actual NBA point guard. He's a two guard. They need to figure out somebody who actually wants to pass outside their center. And then Michael Porter Jr. It'll probably be contagious to him. He doesn't see Jamal Murray pass. He's like, why should I pass it?
Man, just run a big lineup. Put Jokic at the 1 and put DeAndre Jordan in or something.
Nah, they should trade for
Jordan to Switzerland.
What was that, Danny?
They should trade for Embiid and then run Embiid and Jokic.
Embiid, Jokic, pick and roll, I promise you, is the only play they're running. Only play. And you can run it both ways. And one more, like, beautiful stat line from last night that I wanted to bring up. Anthony Davis, 35 points, 1 assist. Beautiful. It is so beautiful.
Y'all know my favorite part about that? Y'all know my favorite part about the Anthony Davis thing? Yesterday I was watching the game. I absolutely loved him just standing right in the middle of right in the free throw line, holding the ball for 14 seconds, real LeBron-like, and then going to the hole doing some BS and getting a foul call. That was my favorite part of last night, honestly.
Detrimental.
Why are we in an era where we expect bigs to get assists?
It's because Jokic changed the idea. Like,
I know, bro, but like we never expected Tim Duncan to get 8 assists a game.
Yeah, like me personally, my center doesn't have to do that. Well, hence, my favorite team center is Robert Williams or Al Horford on a given night. Yo, sneaky Robert Williams is one of the best passing bigs in the NBA. He just don't get assists. He's more like the hockey assist guy.
And he has nice touch passes too. That's one thing he does really well. He'll catch it and drop it off.
If you watch the playoffs last year, Rob Will was throwing some dimes.
Yeah, real stuff. Like Robert Williams last year, bro, he was special. Like, I mean, he's still okay this year, but he was special. Like, last year, Robert Williams is what people thought Mitchell Robinson would be. Yeah, he was phenomenal. But lucky to have Danny come in back half of the episode, talk some wide receivers, talk some free agency, of course, play the outro game. Danny didn't get to talk who we think is better than Joel Embiid this season. I have a strong feeling Danny would say no one, but because
Giannis is the only guy.
Yeah, that's essentially the conclusion we came to. Is the only guy that's better than him this year has been Giannis, and maybe you could argue a couple of other guys. But
Giannis is also more freaky too.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Embiid be busting out the D-Generation X poses.
Yeah, that was nuts. But also, too, that dude, Giannis, on Instagram Live, he has one of the greatest quotes ever. He said, and I quote, they call me the Greek freak on the court, but in the sheets, I'm a freak too. So that is right there makes him the freakiest dude.
No. The best quote from Giannis is 50-piece chicken mini.
50-piece chicken mini was spam during that summer. But that's everything we got for you guys today. When you're watching this is going to be a super late release, but don't worry, we are getting it to you. From Antonio, Chris Culture, and Danny Cole, UPenn's finest. Have a good night. Make sure you keep showing love. Subscribe. Make sure you download if you're listening to on a podcast network. Love and appreciate you guys. Have a good one.